Well, hello guys, welcome back to another episode of Everyday EDC. My name is Tyler, and today we have a review for you. Very quick, this one's not gonna be super long, but this is a review of the wickety Kershaw Mix Tape. Alright guys, so the Kershaw Mix Tape. This thing has surprised the living hell out of me. Alright, so jumping kind of ahead of myself, T6, T6, T8, T6, T6. But this is a GFN handle with an opening slot for the blade right here. I think that's really for the whole design of this pocket clip. This pocket clip, let's see if you guys can see it. And sorry for the change in video there. So this pocket clip is mounted from the inside, attached to the barrel spacers right here. Let's see if you guys can get a decent look. So it goes through and it wraps around, and then there's a screw on the inside. Oh, I didn't notice that screw on the inside. So there's a screw on the inside right here, and then it also attaches to the barrel spacer right here. With that screw, it does make it to where you cannot flip this pocket clip. So I thought this was going to be ambidextrous, and you cannot flip it because there's a hidden screw back there that does not have a hole back here. Now, if you were creative enough, I'm sure you could make a hole if you do the measurements right and everything. But yeah, whatever. So as I said, GFN scales, it's not a really bad texturing. The texturing's subtle, but it's, you can hear it. You can kind of hear it on there. It's enough, but it's not aggressive. Everything else is kind of rounded off on the edges. We'll call them chamfered. And there's chamfered edges going into the opening hole right here. Not opening hole, but this slot right here that matches this side, which is probably where they get mixed tape from. Kind of like, I wish I had a cassette tape to show you guys. Kind of a similar shape-ish. They tried to do a design on the pivot here that they call it like a classy looking design. To me, this design kind of looks, well, A, it's dirty. Hold on, let's see here. All right. So to me, some of you guys may recognize this as like a different type of design that they're trying to hint at. They call this just a decorative pivot. I'm not going to call it a decorative pivot. To me, it looks like somebody kind of screwed up with a flathead a couple times. And I'm hitting some negative stuff, but this knife isn't all negative. This knife is actually pretty cool. But I just want to let you guys know it's not going to be all negative. But there are negative things. Cannot flip this. This is not ambidextrous. And this pivot, while being captive, I believe, it better be captive, but at least you got a slot for the flathead. When I turned it, it fell captive. You do have an opening disc right here. So it's not really a thumb stud, it's an opening disc. Maybe one of my favorite opening discs to date, but I've only held a few. I'm not a huge fan of them, but it works out just fine. Speaking of which, not much authority on that flip. There you go. So this is a reverse Tonto style blade. I guess you can call it a Sheepsfoot, right? I mean, it just depends on who makes it, whether or not it's a Sheepsfoot. To me, this kind of looks like a Sheepsfoot, but reverse Tonto as well because it's straight back. Whatever. This is a stonewash blade. This is 8CR13 MOV, so I'm sure half of you that are watching have just turned off just because 8CR13 MOV. I didn't even tell you guys the price yet, and I'm going to tell you that right now just so we can get over this hump. It's actually priced perfectly. This thing is coming in at 26 bucks. So for 8CR13 MOV, are you still mad that it's 26 bucks? If so, you're watching the wrong channel because we hit everything. I'm not one of those elitist guys. So anyways, off topic. I apologize. I got a little defensive there. So this is there's a Kershaw logo there. There is the 8CR13 and then 2050, which I'm assuming is the model number. I'll show you guys the billboarding. Not too much billboarding. Made in China. Again, not a huge deal. So this is coming down with the flat grind for this. Guys, this knife reminds me a lot of, say, the QSP Penguin, because it's so damn functional. This is one of those like This is one of those mega functional style blade shapes and everything about this. Like you're just gonna take this out, and this isn't my knife. This is sorry if the channel keeps blocking up. My allergies just like hit me all of a sudden upon recording. It's like thanks a lot for waiting for this moment. So this was sent into the channel by Steve, and he sent a couple different knives in along with a trade that we had. So I was interested in this because I didn't know what it was. I seen it in a big picture, and here's the funny part. If I would have known kind of what it was and seen it in pictures before handling it, I don't know that I would have been as excited. Even when I got it at first, I wasn't as excited. I was kind of like, oh man, you know, the ZT0560 is coming in, you know. We got the freaking Berg Blades Iron Wolf. That's here. That's awesome, you know. We got the Artisan Cutlery Centauri, you know. That's super cool. And the Kershaw Mix Tape. Now, the reason I kind of make that little like play, right, is to let you guys know that that is not how this ends. This knife is awesome. So, as we said, reverse tanto. I did put another edge on it for you, Steve. It was kind of, was it this one that I did? I think it was this one. No, it wasn't this one. I just wrapped this one up. Never mind. I used my new oil stones, the Superfine on this. That's what I did there. Kind of just like tried out the new Superfine oil stones just to see what we could do with them. FYI, the new oil stones, the Preyhaus, freaking my new favorite thing to sharpen with. It's just, there's something about it. Not sure. Holy smokes, am I getting off topic. So I did put another edge on this because it is HCR, and I did use it. But the cool thing about this is this is somebody else's knife, but it's 26 bucks. So I really took this out and put it through the ringer. Why? Because if I did any damage to it, I could either fix the blade and let the guy know, let Steve know, or I can just replace it. Like 26 bucks, yo, here, I'll just order you a new one and send it to you, right? And so these types of knives I really get to use and get a good feeling for, as opposed to, once again, if somebody lends me in the 0560. I know Ryan said, you know, use it, you know, have fun with it, but at the same time, it scares me to do because I don't want to be the guy responsible for damaging the knives. Something like this is super easy to replace. So I used it, and I used it really, really well. Now, ergonomically, I didn't mention there's jimping on the spine here. I'm all over the place because this one's kind of a conundrum for me. I didn't want to like it, and I love it. So, ergonomically, even with that thumb disc, it works really, really well. The grind looks fine. Even the way they did the plunge grind, they stopped right before the plunge grind, and, you know, the plunge grind kind of arcs up, so as I'm sharpening, I'm going to be hitting that plunge grind. That's kind of annoying, but not a huge deal. If you just sharpen more like this as opposed to like this, you'll avoid that. But anyways, this is writing on phosphor bronze washers. Now I believe there is Teflon washers in here, but I do not know because I haven't taken it apart. I can take it apart, but I just didn't. There was no need to. You can kind of clean the whole thing from the outside. You have easy access to all of it. I thought those were bearings because this thing's action is phenomenal. For 26 bucks, this thing has insane action, but they don't feel like bearings. Like you can feel that something in there, and I'm like, are these bearings? And I like did a bunch of research through, and I should have just taken it apart. But they are phosphor bronze, but they do feel like they're riding on Teflon because there's no grinding feeling. I can tell you guys right now that I've never felt a knife on phosphor bronze at this price range doing this. The rats are, I think they're Teflon, and they're really, really good too. They're tuned in really well. This is right behind them. This thing's action for what you're getting is absolutely phenomenal. So let's go over some specs. We'll do some size comparisons. I really didn't give you too much. I missed a lot because I went off on tangents here. These liners are nested, which is also cool. You have some black barrel spacers right there, and then jimping on the spine. I was really excited about this, as you couldn't tell, ironically, right? That tells you guys that I'm not just like a more expensive knife guy. Like I appreciate the other things. So this knife is coming in at 2.68 ounces, so it's definitely in that lightweight range. I don't think anybody's going to have a problem carrying it, and it does carry really well despite having a very tall carry in your pocket. Putting that into perspective, here is your 0562. I keep bringing it out because it's right next to it. Your 0562 is going to sit like this in your pocket, and your Kershaw Mix Tape is going to sit like that. So it's not a deep carry at all, quite the opposite. All right. So the overall length of this guy's coming in at 7 1/4. The overall blade length is coming in at about 3 1/8. I'm going to say that because it's definitely not 3 and it's definitely not 3 1/4. So I'm going to call it 3 1/8. And the cutting edge is right there at 3 1/8 as well. I'm not sure what they called it on the other sites. I don't get my specs from the other sites. I kind of just get an idea to make sure I'm not missing like any design ideas or something that you wouldn't be completely apparent upon review at face value. All right, so the blade stock thickness is coming in at 115 thousandths, so it's a relatively narrow blade stock with about, is that right, 20 thousandths behind the edge? It's about 25 thousandths behind the edge. There we go. See up at the tip. Yeah, so it's about 25 thousandths behind the edge. Not the most slicey of knives, but 25 thousandths, in my opinion, is damn near good enough for almost anything. All right, so this is coming in at 440 thousandths thick. Now, that's on the more narrow side. It's not going to be the most narrow, but it's on the more narrow side. As far as height in your pocket, the overall height is coming in at, let's see if I can, about 1.08 or 1.1 inches tall in your pocket. So it's almost half the size of a Spyderco as well. So this thing is actually a really, really good knife that I've never heard of before. I don't know how long it's been out, but here is your feldspar and your mini feldspar. As you can see, it's much longer, much shorter than your regular feldspar, and it's just about the same size as your mini feldspar. Here's your Rat Model 1 and your Rat Model 2. Guys, there's an upcoming battle between these two. I know, oh, you're doing a battle with the Rat 2 and the Kershaw Mix Tape. I do battles as I see comparisons. And I was just thinking to myself as I was setting this up that if I were to ever say, go to work and buy my guys a knife for work, right? Like now that I'm a knife guy, you know, get away from the freaking box cutters, guys. You know, let's get you a knife. And I was to have to buy that for 50 people. It's still going to be expensive, right? But what knife would I get? And I was thinking, well, I can't give the guys the Rat Model 1. In a workplace setting, it's almost too big for, you know, somebody in supervision to be given to 50 of your guys, and then somebody gets, it's just, I think I'm asking for problems giving a much larger knife. But the Rat Model 2 and the Kershaw Mix Tape being the same exact size are really, really, really good candidates to just give out, because this is coming in at what, $32 for the Rat Model 2. This is coming in at $26. Yeah, I think this is one of those types of knives that I really want to do a comparison with to kind of give like the king of the round about 3-inch mark sub $35, right? Short of some CGRBs that I don't really compare them because I don't know. In my mind, I don't see the Penguin kind of fits into there too. I just don't see. It's a weird, different class. The Penguin is a knife that I'm not scared to use. But I think that if I wanted to go do something dirty and I had this and the Penguin sitting next to me, I would choose the Kershaw Mix Tape. And I don't know why. It's something in my brain. I'm not saying that the Penguin's nicer of a knife or more quality. I'm just saying, and again, tangents with this video, guys. Tangents. Get me on track. So this is the Civivi Brazen and the Civivi Elementum. And last but not least, let's show you a Spyderco mix. I apologize. I'm Jesus, I don't know how many times I apologize in this freaking video, but I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, dude, am I even giving a review or am I talking to myself? What the hell is going on with this thing? So, here we go. Here is your Spyderco Domino, a little bit longer, and your Spyderco Little Native, much shorter. Alright, so we'll do a quick recap. You guys already know my likes and my dislikes, really. I'll go over some dislikes, I guess. So this is a reverse Tonto or a Sheepsfoot style stonewashed 8CR13 MOV blade with a thumb disc for the opening mechanism. Everything on this is pretty generic, but it's stupid functional. We have GFN scales for the handles, and honestly, guys, I'm going to tell you guys right now, I actually like the feeling of GFN better than FRN. FRN feels like a cheapy plastic. This feels like a cheap, like, harder plastic, in my opinion. Just off topic. So these GFS scales are rounded around the edge. I wouldn't call them chamfered. I think that's just how they were molded. I don't know that you can really mill these because they're rounded. I bet you these are just molded and they're rounded around the edge, given like a pseudo chamfering look. You have a pocket clip here that goes and it mounts from the inside with a hidden screw facing up underneath here, and then the other ring goes around the back spacer, right, or the barrel spacers right there. This is riding on phosphor bronze, and I cannot see the Teflon, but I definitely feel like there's Teflon in there. If there's no Teflon in there, this is one of the smoothest phosphor bronze actions I've ever seen. So for 26 bucks, the action on this guy is really, really good. It's satisfying, and 100% honesty, I've had like my Hinder XM18, and then this would come to work with me, right? So like if I'm gonna do some heavy duty, like I'm gonna get dirty to where I don't want to use my XM18, I would use this. And on the way home, I flip my knives with my right hand as I'm driving with my left, and I'm, you know, listening to Knife Nuts podcast or something. And I would put down my XM18, pick this up for a couple flips, then pick up my XM18 again. Like, that's how satisfying this is. Just I mean, there's nothing special. It's just satisfying. Now, the blade centering is slightly off center that I'm sure I could fix. And then the action back and forth, I thought it was super smooth due to it being loose. It's not. So, I guess all in all, and made in China, even though it's a Kershaw knife. So, all in all, guys, huge kudos to the Kershaw Mix Tape. It's generic. It's everything you need in a cheap knife that you're going to go out and you're going to use the living crap out of. I thoroughly enjoyed carrying this and physically chose to carry it. This thing's coming in about in between 25 and 28 bucks. And I'm sure you could probably find a better deal on it somewhere. I think on Amazon it's like 28 bucks, 27 bucks right now. Blade HQ it's like 26 or 28. And then I saw one other site at like 25. Kershaw's site has it listed as 14 until you click on the link and it shows 44. So don't let that confuse you. Anyways, guys, this is the Kershaw Mix Tape. My name is Tyler. This has been Everyday EDC. Thank you so much, Steve, for sending this in. And this just goes to show you, you don't need an expensive knife to get done what you need to get done and still be kind of happy with it. I mean, this thing is really, really cool. Apologize again for the random, all over the place review, but this thing is awesome. You guys stay sharp, stay safe, and have a great freaking day, guys. Thanks so much for watching.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. It genuinely means a lot. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment. If you didn't like it, give me some feedback in the comments below and hit the thumbs down button. In case you guys don't know, I do have a Patreon, which will be listed right here. In that Patreon, we're giving bi-monthly giveaways to just the Patreons based on the number of Patreons that we have in the Patreon. We will also be giving discounts on all the knives that I sell based on the number of patrons. My name is Tyler. This is Everyday EDC. You guys stay sharp, stay safe, and have a great day.